All right, so we're here with Matt Allen, a good friend of mine that I met in London, Kentucky, probably roughly 10-ish years ago. Met him through my dad when they were kind of doing some business together. Whenever Smoke and Barrel was a thing in Laurel County. I don't know if y'all remember that place. But my good friend here, I've stayed in touch with him a little bit throughout the years. And now he's actually running for council in Laurel County. I know the huge aspect of everything on the council has been nothing but drama, but something that I've respected out of Matt a lot lately is he's really tried to steer clear of the drama. He just wants to see Laurel County succeed and become better. Whether it's some members of the council board would stay there or new members going in, and hopefully Matt's going to be one of those members. And we're just going to ask him a few questions about himself and then also his future for Laurel County and what he wants to see change for Laurel County. So, Matt, just go ahead and introduce yourself and tell everybody who you are.
Yeah, I'm Matt Allen. I'm running for London City Council here in London. I've been a resident here my whole life pretty much, other than, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 months I lived in Ohio, but I'm born and raised here. My parents are from here. You know, my family lives here. I'm raising my kids here. I work here, reside in the city, lived in the county for a long time. As Austin said, I met you back, 2016 probably.
Somewhere there,
Yeah. It's kind of where my journey started, man, over the last 10 years. Obviously a lot of people know I'm in recovery, have been for almost 10 years now. So that journey kind of started there. And when I met your dad and J.R. Greer and you guys and, Ryan and Jay, there's a lot of people that helped me get to where I'm at today, man. Obviously you spoke about some of the current city council members. I've said many times, I don't have anything negative personally to say. Do I agree with a lot of their policies and things like that? I don't. A lot of their ordinances are not very relevant to me. Need to be looked at and remanufactured, I believe. For me, I'm running for city council because London's my home. It's where I grow up. My kids live here. A lot of people I care about live in the community. So I get asked all the time, why do I want to get in this mess? Well, I want to take it from a mess to something productive. I think we've seen over the last, I don't know, probably a year or so, man, that progress is really halted. We're not making very much progress in the city. Seems like when we try to, something stops it, and they, want to go in a different direction, or, anybody that keeps up with it knows what I'm talking about.
Right.
I go to all the meetings here in London, have been for quite a while, and if anybody paid attention to the one yesterday, I was coaching my kids' soccer team game, and I didn't get to attend, but there was some council member who was pretty disrespectful to some community members, man, and to me that's unacceptable. I don't think those things should be happening. We should respect our females first and foremost, whether you're in the office or not. You probably shouldn't be cussing out females. Probably not a good look for you, especially as a grown man. The direction that I like to see the city go, I want to see a lot of regional development, man. I want to see us working with Somerset and Corbin and Whitley County and Knox County and all of our surrounding counties, Clay County. Because I think when London wins, everybody wins. I think for us to grow as a community, we have to grow other areas around us too. So those are some of the things I'm looking forward to trying to connect with and do and work alongside whoever it is. We've got, I think, 19 people running, which is crazy.
Right.
May 19th, that's going to be cut down to around 12. Hopefully I'm one of them. If not, I know a lot of people who are running who will be good candidates to fill those seats, man. I don't know. I think that, my dad, he's never voted he's 75 years old. He never voted. He's registered to vote. So I think there's a lot of people that's going to come out and make their voice heard that probably normally don't. I talk to a lot of people in the community, and unfortunately right now there's two sides. There's people who are for the mayor, and there's people who are for the current council, and everybody's like, whose side are you on? I'm not on a side. My side is the residents and the community of London, Kentucky, man. That's who I want to work for. I don't have no agenda, no hidden backdoor buddies or none of that stuff. I know I've sat on a subcommittee with some of the current city council members. I know the mayor. I've worked with several of them, Kelly, Justin, the mayor, working with helping the homeless stuff, and seems like that's when everything kind of conspired, man, to where the progress toward things that they were wanting to work on kind of veered away, and then it was obviously we had the Doug Harless incident, and then a lot of city politics that kind of just took over and kind of slowed the progression down of what my hopes were to help them do at that time.
Right. Yeah.
And then we had several members, a couple council members drop off. They stepped away. Stacy, Benj, and a couple more. So, that's one thing that I would like to get back to working towards is improving that area in London. We have a problem. I mean, the people are a problem, but them not being housed is a problem. And back in that time, I think some of the current council members, their best idea was to buy them a bus ticket and send them to Tennessee. Let them be somebody else's problem, and to me, that's putting a Band-Aid on it. That might be some of your family or mine or somebody in the communities, man.
Right.
I wouldn't want to just turn my back on people and not help them. So that is something that I look forward to doing, is helping in that population and doing those things. And obviously, I work with a lot of people, the recovery community, mental health, substance abuse, and obviously London is aware we have a problem here. Our sheriff's been battling that for, 15 years.
Right.
Done a pretty good job, but that's a never-ending battle. It's not going to go away. So, we have a lot of resources here and in surrounding counties that can help with that, and I just kind of look forward to jumping in, and I've been studying up on zoning laws and just a lot of other things that I wasn't aware of coming into. I want to be a member of the city council. There's a lot of things you can do and you can't do. There's a lot of places you can do things that you want to do, and a lot of places you can't do things that you want to do. So, I'm getting educated in all that, and just looking forward to the process, man.
Right. Well, I'll say this, and I'll touch up on a few things that you've talked about, but I'll say this about Matt. I've known him, like I said, about roughly 10 years, and something I've respected about him a lot, he does care about people, and he believes in second chances with a lot of people. I think he's kind of like me on the aspect of we don't care who you are. He's willing to help everybody get a shirt off his back and reach out and talk to them and actually just try to actually be helpful with people, which I've respected a ton with him. But other than that, man, I want to hit on a few of the key points that you talked about. So let's just say you're voted into the board, and is it November when you would actually get in? Is that correct?
Primaries in May, main elections in November. It
Okay.
would be 27 before we
Gotcha.
actually. Yeah.
So I have actually steered clear as much as I could with the entire mess. I know some of the Weddles. I met the mayor once or twice, just through passing, but I know Austin, which is his family, and then Jennifer, which is his sister. And, you know, I've loved them to death. You know, I know there's been issues and people running their mouth, and, you know, I don't care about that. Like, I know Kelly, I know, Weaver just because, you know, the restaurant, you know, and I've seen that whole mess where a window's broken. But like I know these people from my past and talking to them, getting to know them, and then Austin became a really good friend. But what I wanted to hit on though with that is like, you know, second chances, and then also what if you're voted in, and then let's just say some of the people that are currently in, like the mayor or some of the members of the council board, if you get in there, one thing I've like really disagreed with is I feel like it's become so political and so much drama that, you know, we're all adults. I don't understand why we're not actually in a room talking to each other like adults and figuring out like how can we fix this? Like we got to shake hands at some point. There's no point in just yelling at each other and all these things. I understand people get heated in the moment, and they get built up, and a certain thing that they don't agree with makes them mad. I get that same way, you know. But at the end of the day, we are making Laurel County look horrible.
Yeah.
I myself don't want to live in Laurel County because of how much drama and crud goes on in this town.
Yeah.
So you want people to enjoy living here. You know, you want people to want to move here and not leave. You want people to be like, oh, Laurel County's awesome because of these things. They're doing so much better from, you know, 2014 to 2026, or now 2026 to 2030. Like, what has changed and what has become better? So, like, how do you see yourself working with, like, maybe even current people that are still in office? And how do you think you could be different with the current members that are in there right now?
Well, I think first and foremost, you know, you have to be fair. I'm not saying we all have to like each other, but I'm saying we have to do what's best for London and the residents. And it may not always be what I want to do, and that's okay, as long as it's what's best. You know, I'm going to voice my opinion if I don't think it's best. I'm absolutely going to tell them that, whether it's the mayor or current mayor, new mayor, current council, whoever it is. But I think, you know, I agree with you. You know, we're seeing a lot of, you know, obviously, something I tell my clients, sometimes if you ain't got something nice to say, don't say nothing. You know, I think we saw a lot of that where people's feelings get involved, and rather than communicating properly, we've seen a lot of communication not being held properly. And I think whether you're in the mayor's office or the council or city tour, whatever seat you have, if you're you know, in the political aspect in London, your goal and priority should be to do what's best for London, right? Not what's best for the mayor, not what's best for the council. So my hopes would be that we could get moving in that direction, and work on moving the city forward with progress. You know, not one-way vendettas or I don't like you, so I'm gonna try to remove you from office, and that goes both ways.
Right.
You know, I hear people all the time that some of the council members had stepped down. They've tried to remove them. Like, we're tired of seeing all that. When I say we, I'm not talking about me as somebody. I'm talking about a resident of London.
Right.
You know, we're tired of seeing all that.
Right.
You've moved away, right? I'm sure you hear about it and you see about it, and you know, I wanna get to a place where we can work together and resolve things like adults should, and not be on the front page and in the news all the time.
Right.
And if we are, I want to be for positive things, right? Moving the city in a good direction, not, oh, here we go again with London, you know. But I think, you know, with my job, I work with a lot of people, and I don't always have to like them. But, you know, I do what's best for the job that we're doing. I know how to work well with a team, and I think we have to leave our egos at the door and learn how to practice humility. And I've not saw a whole lot of that recently. It seems to be a lot of my way or the highway, and that's not getting nowhere. You know? When we're adjourning meetings and postponing things for weeks at a time and not really making progression, and that's not getting us anywhere.
Right. And I think kind of like what you're saying on that as well. I know, the people I've talked about, like Kelly Green, Austin, and then Jennifer, and then we're talking about the Weavers. There's things that are being affected that should not be affected, and people that are scared that shouldn't be scared about certain things about their families. Like, it's just got too deep where they've almost made it personal, not just political. Like I said, whether people agree or disagree or don't like somebody or they do like them, I've known Austin since, he's a few years younger than me, but I've seen him play football growing up, and I've known his mom, and I've always loved his mom. But like, I've even worked with them and seen where they were even targeted to where they brought drama to their work. And I'm like, it's baffling, seeing and hearing the things that they've said to them. I wouldn't want people saying things like that to you or me or our families.
Yeah.
And then it even goes to the Weavers, store, somebody throwing whatever through their window of the business. And I'm just like, man, like, this is people like have worked for something to build something, and you're running this business, like you're managing things here, and you don't want to see people come here. Like, it's sad that we have to think that people may come at your business that you're trying to take care of, and the people you're trying to take care of, they may come at you for running for the board. And it even goes back to like Bobby Ellison, like running crime with Bobby. Like, they're targeting him with multiple things and making his wife feel uncomfortable. It's just like, when I'm married, or if like I got my girlfriend, I don't want her feeling uncomfortable about things. You don't want your kiddo or anybody feeling uncomfortable about things.
Yeah.
So you're talking about, getting everybody together, whether you like them or not. Yes, this is politics, but we just need to shake hands and say, listen, we're gonna figure out a way to agree with this on some aspects. I might get my way on one thing, but may not on another, but at least we're working together to make Laurel County better. Let's make these people feel safe that are actually even in these positions. That way we can make Laurel County better.
So, prior to running, I spoke to my family because of all those issues you talked about. And there were concerns of, is it going to be safe? I've got a big back. I've got a past, me, where I come from. I'm not concerned about anybody saying anything about that. My kids are good, strong people. They're not concerned about hearing anything like that. And if you know me, if you really, there's a difference in knowing me and knowing of me. If you know me, there's not a whole lot you can say bad about me. I help people for a living. I give back to my community. I've spent the last 10 years spending my life helping other people and giving back to my community. And, I work with judges and prosecutors and probation and parole. And, I get phone calls every day from people's family members who want their loved ones to get help. And, I get up at 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning, go pick people up, help them get them treatment, whatever it is. So if you can find something bad to say, then it's not going to bother me any. So, and my hopes is that we get past all that. If you're running for an office, you shouldn't have to belittle other people and bash what they're doing. What are you doing, right? What are you going to do to improve things? That's what should matter.
I was saying yesterday that somebody got John Root's son and wrote G-A-Y.
I saw that.
I'm like, man, I've known John since church, like back in like 2012, 2014 days, and I don't care who doesn't like them. Don't do that. One,
No.
that costs money. Those signs, I know people would
Oh,
not realize it.
they're
But that
expensive.
sign was probably about $300.
I'm sure.
It's something insane.
Yeah.
Because that was one of the larger signs, and I don't care who agrees or disagrees with them.
Yeah.
Don't do things like that. If you really have that much time to go out of your way to do things like that, maybe you need to reevaluate your life.
Yeah. If you want to make a difference, go vote.
Make a difference.
If you don't like who's in office, go vote. Don't spray paint their signs or bust their windows or talk about their go vote.
Yeah.
That's what matters.
I agree with that. Well, let's finish it off here. I just kind of want to give you one last statement. So I just want you to kind of tell everybody, people really want to know when you get in office, like what is your main, like, let's just say 2 main objectives of like what you want to change and for Laurel County to see, because now everybody's gotten to know you. So tell them like what you actually want to do in office and try to get more detailed of like exactly what you're wanting to see for Laurel County, if you don't mind.
I have a lot of ideas, and I'm willing to work with people on a lot of things. Some of the things that are personal to me, obviously, you heard me talk about helping the homeless people or less fortunate. I won't even say homeless, but we do have a little shelter here in London. I won't say anything bad about them, but I think we can do a better job than what we have, and I think we have resources available to do that. And if not, we can allocate some things to make that happen. And working with the youth, man. You moved away from here, right? How many of our young people leave London?
Right.
So how can we keep them here? That's an interest of mine. So, and that's why I work with a lot. I coach a lot of church league basketball, Optimus soccer, things like that. So, working with our youth. Maybe we need a youth center. I think that's something we don't have that could really be beneficial here. And people are going to say, well, where are we going to get the money? Where are we going to put it? I mean, if we can spend $20,000 in a month on an attorney to represent the current city council, I mean, why can't we invest that money in something positive and progression toward our young people?
I agree with that.
I think there's a lot of things that we can do in that area, and I hope that we put all this negativity behind us and we start moving forward with ideas. Right? We have a new fairgrounds. I know it's county, but I think that's awesome. That's something that is going to be very beneficial to London and our young people. Obviously, it's going to bring some revenue in. We're seeing a lot of new restaurants and things open up, and I think that's great. It seems like we had like 8 places to eat for 20 years, and that was it.
Right.
I'm still mad they took Ponderosa out. I loved it. I'm a buffet guy,
Right.
man. So, yeah, I think there's a lot of things that we can do, and our current council could probably do. But when we're focused on the negative and not the positive, we're not going to get very far. Progression's going to hinder, and we're just not going to get where we need to be.
Understand. Well, sounds like Matt's main focus is he is wanting to help people that are struggling, which is actually kind of like what he's currently doing right now, but he's wanting to take it to a new level of helping people that are struggling in life, but also helping our youth grow in Laurel County. I think that is actually huge. That's something I've even talked about since I graduated high school in 2014, is just seeing, having something to do for youth, whether they're teenagers in high school or even college, people coming home, and even adults, to be honest. I've not seen everything with the fairgrounds yet. I've kind of heard something about, the horses coming there, but also kind of like a outdoor venue. I don't know how much truth there is to it, but for like a concert venue outdoors, that sounds pretty awesome. To start bringing bands there, that brings money to the city as well, kind of like Corbin Arena has, and then also kind of like Manchester Music Hall and Lexington. If we're bringing that type of environment to Laurel County, it's bringing revenue for one, but it's also giving more safe things and fun things to do for your kids. You don't have to worry about them going out and raising Cain, driving their trucks up hills and destroying people's properties
saw
for no
that.
reason. I seen that last night.
Yeah.
Somebody I know, and you just want to see your kids going in the right direction and just staying out of trouble. And I got 2 kiddos, you got kids, everybody's got kids, and you just want to see them have something good for them to actually do when they're growing up. So I completely agree with that. And Matt, I appreciate you coming on the podcast for the first
Glad to
episode.
be here.
And we really do wish you luck for your election, man.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, sir.
Thanks, brother.